Was a little stressed today. He did.
Who was?
Into his bathroom.
Hey.
Luis.
Louise.
Yeah.
Things are just going along.
I'm glad they're pretty cool.
Didn't we say we didn't want AI note takers?
Oh, there she is.
Just the place of the semester we are, that all the moments.
Yeah.
Too much excitement in too many places. It's
It's really lucky that I'm able to focus on my garden.
Yeah.
So-
Robin.
I have mine, and it happens in Zoom,
Yeah.
and I show you.
Yeah.
It says, Maggie
The
says,
neighbors,
Maggie's, I'm like,
I'm
next
not saying
door
names.
have a usual
Yeah.
yeah.
You're a liar.
And they're chicken coop. So, no, it's just computer. You can't use it online. I used to, someone
So the trade.
first in the world used it.
Yeah,
When
when
they
they
looked at it or when
And
I
I
looked
would say
at it.
computers had
it.
a flaw.
No, they had it in the middle. So that's your mid-draft stuff right there.
Oh,
We did it more and then.
how was the procedures?
It was good.
So
Yeah,
there's
Not a
some
lot of
factors that,
information, or
Huh?
was there a lot of information about
I mean,
like
it
what
was
the,
that, and
what
then-
the process is gonna be and when they're gonna do
Right,
it?
so
and-
they, what they were doing is asking the charter readers for input. So they have, yeah, well, they haven't asked us.
Well, I know, I mean, they're still developing the process.
So they're still developing the process, but it's getting closer, so that's what we talked about. But Mary Cox had some major concerns. So
Who's that?
about Mary Cox's core. She's the
Oh,
head of core, and she's very, very, very involved at the state level. And she's like this, then there's a new rule that's coming out, it's kind of anti-charter, and she says, which is cut and paste from that bill. So she's like,
oh,
you know,
got it.
I'm like, okay, I will support you in
Yeah,
your information. So
okay.
it's about, the charter can't be the same as district school.
Mm,
And she's like, well,
It's good to listen to people that are paying attention to that
Yeah.
stuff.
so she's like, it's like, so we had Wildflower, who was developed when Hooker closed.
Uh-huh.
And then Hooker decided to do open classroom again, so we now have, which I
Yeah.
didn't know that, so now we have a traditional district school that does open classroom and a charter that does open classroom. So if you say it can't be like a
Yeah.
district school, then Wildflower can't get funding,
Yeah,
you know, so.
sure.
Yeah.
It is, Hooker does do stuff very different than every other district
Yeah.
school.
They are and have been
Yeah.
historically open classrooms. I know I have friends that said they're,
Huh.
you know,
I
40-year-old
did.
children.
Part of my student teaching.
Okay, yeah, so they were
It's-
open classroom and then they decided, oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna go to traditional.
So then why
And
not?
so then families left.
Yeah.
Because they wanted.
Yeah.
Open classroom and went to Wildflower and now they started again, so, which is fine. We have two schools and that's fine. But what she's saying is now if you write this
Yeah.
into this new funding source.
Wildflower would have to change.
Can't, well, they can't get that fund, yeah, they
Yeah.
have to change, or they could potentially with a new,
Yeah.
lose their charter, so, anyway.
Interesting.
So she's very, like, overall,
Yeah.
statewide advocate for charter schools, so.
Well, that's
She
good.
knows those things that I'm like, oh, that's a good thing to know.
Yeah.
So I learned.
I'm gonna call this meeting to order. 6 o'clock. We are so timely on March 25th, Tuesday night. This is the Blue Oak Charter Council. Are we recording? Right. Call the meeting to order and a roll call. Can we start with Ryan, please?
Ryan Sanders here.
Donna Kvetski.
Here. Vicky Wanacott here.
Trisha Aldair too in here.
All right, thank you. And we've got Cheryl, Susan, Penny, Maggie, possibly Karen and Laura. The invocation altogether. This is our school. May peace dwell here. May the rooms be full of contentment. May love abide here. Love of one another, love of our school, and love of life itself. Let us remember that as many hands build a house, so many hearts build a school.
Do we have like a note taker thing up there? Or that's just somebody's.
No, that's just Annie.
Okay. I was just, like, sometimes you'll see like there's people on like this Zoom, and it's like an AI thing that's like actually transcribing.
Transcribing everything.
Yeah.
We have that option, but we don't use it because it's not always
Accurate, yeah, and then you have to go back and make
Trisha
sure.
said, and it wasn't Trisha.
Yeah.
It wasn't what was said.
Yeah, I know, Siri does that to me all the time.
Yeah, so we are not using it.
Okay. And agenda modifications, 1.4. Okay. Need a motion to accept the consent agenda? Oh, here we go, let's wait and see. Hi, good morning. We'll just hold up here for a minute.
Thank you.
You still need to be like that.
We were just gonna vote on the consent agenda, accepting it. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda. I'll second.
Great, thank you. Questions or comments before we vote? And we're voting.
Hey, Ryan, I.
Laurel, I. Donna,
Vicky, aye.
Trisha, I.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Do we have any audience to address the council?
Hang on, I'm having some difficulties here. Here we go. Here we go. Any audience members?
I see no raised hands. So that. Do we have anyone that wants to say anything? No? All right, moving on. Item 2 is taken care of. Accepted the consent agenda. Faculty report. 3.1, Cheryl. And Sarah Lee.
Hi. I'm here. My video isn't working though.
Her camera's on.
I'm sorry, hang on, Sarah.
Are you approving the consent agenda?
We did, we did,
Did it so quickly?
Yeah.
And
I'm
was
sorry.
reading, I'm sorry.
Okay.
That was quick.
See there, I'm efficient. And
You are, you're
never-
so good.
You just don't recognize it. Okay, sorry, Sarah, go ahead.
I just said I'm here, but my camera won't turn on for some reason.
Alrighty. Okay.
I shared the slide with Maggie and Brian. Does anyone have, I don't know who has the,
I have it, yeah, I don't know, can I share?
who has the
Yeah,
screen
you
sharing?
should be able to.
enabled? Oops, but I need to do something first.
Then I will not.
Never mind.
Oh, it's not that, it's okay. I was gonna delete the ones that didn't add, and make it look nice, but I'll do that later.
Okay, then I will share.
Okay, thank you.
Well.
Sorry about leaving. I was like giving everyone the last possible moment they could. So there is orange slideshow.
Oh, not share.
All the blossoms all over the valley.
Yes. Move along. Sorry. So this is back in when you had the celebrating reading of the US month or week. I had the children, and Karen Leahy actually asked me if I would bring some of the books. I had children retell and illustrate their own books of the Bamboo Maiden because it's a told story. So it's not a picture book. So it's a told story. They hear it 3 times. They get the puppet show. We act it out. That's always fun. And then they made their own little books. So I'll share them with you as we go through the slideshow. And they also got to bring in their own favorite books and have a little library in the corner there. And if they wanted to during free play, go look at the books. So that was kind of fun seeing that they were interested in that. And then every Friday, we walk to the garden, the 3rd grade garden, and go hunt for herbs for our soup. And that last Friday, it was just cold and pouring, and we went anyway. We were just dedicated. And one child or 2 may or may not have been crying by the end of the walk. But then we were warm and cozy right away once we got started. We had a good soup, so that's nice. We have, we always get to say, that doesn't apply, like the office will announce if it's inside recess or inside snack, and we'll say, well, we get to do whatever we want because we have all the gear, so.
That's great.
Yeah. Oh, and these are some of their books. They were just so cute. They were so proud of their retelling. The story, I'll send these home with the families. The actual story is on the back so they can see what they took in. Their drawings.
Aww.
Felicity did a very outstanding job.
This is
Parker.
really something.
Alvaro is not quite coming
5
to
minutes
it yet.
Thank you, Cheryl.
These are nice to see.
Yeah.
This answer.
I always love all of the notes, you know, like of what it is,
We dictate what they
Yeah.
say.
because then
Or they
later,
dictate, sorry.
you can go back, like, after my kids went through kindergarten, I started doing that on their drawings, they would tell me like what it was,
Yeah.
and
Then you have an idea.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, one of the youths died. Most of them remember that part.
So many stories have orphans.
I know, right?
Thank you, Cheryl.
And then there's grade 1, Miss Hunter, that's, I'll say Luis in the middle. So first grade 1, the door decorating contest. And I didn't know this, but they got an ice cream party to celebrate, a surprise party. And they craft every week with Miss Hunter is a crafter. There's their pipe cleaner, alligators, and snakes. And they had a scholastic wish list. They got this, one of these nice books, Sleeping Sheep over. And they had the first graders requested 3 read-alouds today. Their current favorite thing to do is point out every consonant, blend, and digraph in every bit of text.
So I would like to share that on the day they got the party and there was a new student. That is his first day of school. We thought,
Oh,
it was pretty
boy.
amazing.
Nice.
And
I bet.
An ice cream party at school. Yeah. He still likes us even though he doesn't. Every day.
This is 2nd grade. They loved their book fair week and spirit dress-up days. And the class is currently enjoying the stories of the King of Ireland and his son. In grade 3 with Mr. Meyer. Oh, how did that happen? Where did she go?
She's back. You got it.
Part of our ongoing ongoing exploration of farming and gardening, we were lucky enough to have a member of the Environmental Council come and give a presentation about composting. The kids loved the worm wagon and they left us with their own mini compost bucket.
Yay.
Ms. Todd shared this with me over the weekend. And this is, shared the words, and allowed me to take a picture of this amazing, I can't believe this is a physics block, but it looks like
Yeah.
art. So, drawing with charcoal encourages a student to really observe light and how it travels, reflects, bounces, and highlights an object, and how the lack of light creates shadow and depth. These charcoal drawings were part of our physics exploration of optics, where we explored light and shadows. Through the charcoal, we identified a light source, size of the shadow, as well as the umbra, which is the darkest part of a shadow. And they are at the environmental camp right now. It's not Shady Creek, is it?
No, it's not.
What's it called?
Sierra.
Sierra Outdoor School.
Is it in the new campus? Or the same Shady Creek?
No, it's not Shady Creek.
It's not at Shady.
It's Sierra Ashland.
All right.
Totally different.
Yeah, brand new teacher pulled off a trip.
So they're right now.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
She sent us some pictures, I'll try to
Oh,
share them.
yeah, she did. And Miss Lee has some artists in her class, so that above the words is original art by Botticelli, and on the left and the right are student replicas. So during the Renaissance block, they worked on a master artist project. Students picked a piece of art and over weeks recreated it to the best of their ability, and they will be on display soon. That's something.
Those are beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, how nice. That's very nice.
Pictures
Oh, these are from
from the
Emma.
camp and from Emma.
Emma Todd. She has
Oh.
some 6th grade pictures at their environmental camp.
Ooh, a rope course. Danger, danger.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Lots of rope and headgear. That's what it looks like. Oh, good, headgear.
Is that
Yeah.
is that a 6th grader? That girl?
No, that is
8th grade.
8th grade.
8th grade.
That's
Oh,
Izzy, isn't it?
Yeah.
okay. This is the upper grades handwork, and Sarah says, my goal is to get the students to experiment with a variety of mediums with no pressure for perfection. Get students to use art as a way to express feelings, as well as notice how the elements they chose make others feel when they look at their project, and to get students who make a mistake to go with it, adding layers and new materials to change the look of their project.
That's so cool.
I'd love to see these in person.
Yeah.
They look very three-dimensional. And this is Miss Swanson's music class. We continue to have fun in music, learning new songs and playing fun games. On the right, 2 students are playing conversations. In this game, the violins talk to each other. I've loved hearing the fantastical tales they tell each other. The children can play this for hours. And 4th grade comes in for something called Open Studio, 2 days a week, for extra help with learning such a complex instrument. For the last 10 minutes, I let them have free playtime in the classroom while I tidy up. Most of the time, they play lesson time, where one student is Miss Swanson and the rest of the students. It is hilarious to hear how I sound from their perspective. Yesterday, I heard a student playing me say, "Show me your greatness," and a little later, "Class, you're not showing me your greatness." Those are 4th graders in there too.
That's it.
Yes.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I always like that part. Questions, comments before we move to item 4?
Thanks for putting it together.
All right, we've got Susan on school enrollment. Is Annie here for a budget report? She's not.
The second term. She'll probably
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
it.
she'll do a second.
Okay.
Share this. There it is. Yep, there it is. Okay, pulled this data as of February 28th. Rearranged it so it met with 3, 3, and 3. So all 3 are in the 74, the 70 range. So that's our enrollment as of the last day of February. We enroll students, continue to enroll students during March and the beginning of April. But new enrollment ends, and I don't have a precise date, but in the middle of April. And then we're working to establish what our numbers should be for next year. Beginning to get those enrollments processed, and then we'll work with Annie as far as the budget goes on that.
Not a lot of big changes.
No, just up and down, up and, one day up, one day down, so.
Susan, why does it say 221 under 3 levels?
Oh, I don't know why it says 221, because that's a typo.
Okay.
That should be like the
It should just be blank for say total.
All righty. Thank you, Susan. Item 4.2.
Okay, Annie, are you there? You want to come through this?
She's here.
Did she leave?
She might have.
Okay, well then, maybe Brian and I can talk through this. This is the second interim report. They, Charter Impact always tells us, we are unusual in that we review our numbers every month. So this is basically what we've already been seeing every month.
And this is something we go over at the finance committees?
Yes, the finance committee has already reviewed it and
Hopefully found it
recommended it
acceptable.
to the chair.
Oops.
Any big changes, concerns, or?
I mean, no big changes, we all kind of see the big cliff coming. But that's not changed.
But in the financials, it said there was a surplus.
There's a small surplus we
Yeah,
also do
it's
not
small.
have, that's because we don't have a second administrator. There's
Yeah.
a small surplus.
Hmm.
So that's, there. But we do in this budget look in the black through the 3 years. We also, this is a surprise, we also just got the notification that the ERC was coming, and it's about $666,000+. So for the year, we'll look wonderful.
Good.
We will have a surplus, we're not sending all that money this year. But we may, as a finance committee, have some discussions about that, but, we've cut staff this year, do we want to address that one?
Yeah.
And we'll review those recommendations.
Right. Thank you.
It's a pretty long report.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of numbers.
This is,
Do we have questions and or comments about this report? Do we need more time with this?
But we don't really have more time because it was due to the district on the 15th, and so they're
Okay.
waiting very patiently for it right now.
All right, so we need a motion to accept it.
I'm just trying to find the end of it.
Yeah,
It's long.
it
Okay.
goes
I found it.
to,
Right there. See it right there.
Such a different format.
yeah, there's a lot of different.
I know.
And we actually have already shared it with the district, so and they have not come back with any questions, so that's.
Okay,
I'll-
we just need to accept it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the second interim budget.
Yes.
Supported.
Yeah, thank you. And we have a second.
Not a second, we did
Donna seconded it. And we're voting.
it. Ryan, aye.
Laurel.
Sorry.
Donna, hi.
Vicky,
Yeah,
aye.
sorry.
Trisha, aye.
I would.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Governance, we've got Ryan with the finance.
Yeah, much of our last meeting was
This
going
is-
through that giant thing.
Uh-huh,
Yeah, like you said, there's an 8K projected surplus, except that now there's maybe a $600,000 surplus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
650,000.
So any numbers I tell you are
One
forgetting
tiny
it. Yeah,
action.
yeah. We actually have 2 open positions right now, right? There's that aide and a assistant administrator. So if that ERC didn't exist, we'd actually kind of have maybe maybe a $40,000-$50,000 deficit. So the news changes every single day, I guess. We reviewed some ELOP pay structures, made it make more sense. Really just documented them when they. We looked at the class accounts. Everybody has some of them.
some amount.
Yeah, there's a range for sure.
Yeah.
But,
I just heard I'm rich.
You just heard right now?
Not right now, like a few days ago.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Oh, I remember that, yes.
What is that?
Kindergarten's rich, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get a large donation
Because,
or did you get a large
Because
donation?
Yes,
kindergarten
a long
raises
time
money.
ago, and I
and
forgot
it
about it.
stays with the classroom.
Oh, isn't that fun?
5 years ago.
And
I
kindergarten,
missed
kindergarten is, they're not costs. Anything great.
They're wealthy.
Yeah, so they're just, they're
The
richies
class
over there.
system.
All right,
Yeah.
and moving on.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Parent council report with Susan.
Yeah, I continue to meet monthly with the Michelles, who are the co-chairs. And, a lot of forward planning. They're working now on open lands as their big next thing. And doing a variety of fundraisers, and I think it was mentioned last month, but they have been supplying healthy snacks, which are being well eaten. I'm checking them to make sure nothing's bad. So they're very much being enjoyed by the
What
staff.
kind of healthy stuff are we?
What kind of, well, there's some snack bars, there's hard-boiled eggs, there's good cheese, there's bananas. They don't last very long, bananas. There's
Right.
apples, carrots, and then of course, the most healthy thing, which is coffee, and with cream. It's very healthy.
With cream.
Yeah, so
All righty.
Do they ever put in bell peppers?
they have not done bell peppers.
Some people like bell peppers.
There's hummus,
Oh,
They're coming.
there we go.
Yahoo! All right.
cup of soup,
Yeah.
lentils.
Oh, fruit juices, hummus,
All right.
yogurt, yeah,
Yeah.
really, like, much better than, the chocolate that's hiding in the corners.
All right.
Much better for us, so we're very appreciative of that, and they're working on the Mayfair also and other things, so. Plug it along.
Plug it
Great
along.
stuff.
Parent group, good. Thank you. Facility Facilities Committee report with Tricia.
You know, we are a little rogue in facilities. We kind of meet whenever we feel like it. Maggie really likes it.
Gives her a challenge.
I don't think we've met since our last charter meeting because we've got scheduled and lots of vacations, a lot of trips, which was a lot of me. I was gone a lot of March. So we have our next meeting April 1st.
Oh, okay.
And
Just kidding.
in between, so other things that are happening, so we still have that number I gave you guys last time. The next meeting, we have the cost estimator coming, like the actual cost estimator, that will give us those costs given the current site that we are dreaming up. There was a Prop 2 webinar today for the state. So that was a lot of information. So the one thing, the couple big things for Prop 2, so everybody remember what Prop 2 is? That's the statewide funding, that's a 50% match, right? We have to come up with 50%, they give us 50% if you get selected. So how they're going to do their selections is they have 4 criteria. And so it's the district overcrowded, right? So you get points for that. Low income, you get points for. Existing district facilities, if you're doing like a rehab of it was a district school, and you as a charter school are taking over and you're gonna rehab it, you get points for it. And nonprofit status, you get points for. So those are the 4 areas you'll be moved up or down. And then it also goes geographically, right? So, so whatever school has the most points will be at the top, and then it will kind of go in a round robin throughout the state, and that's how we'll be awarded. So, right, like if there's nobody up in this, and I don't know how the regions are divided either, right? Like what is constitutes if it's just like per district, and they didn't go over that, then right, we could have a good chance if there's 5 other schools in our district and we don't have the points, then right. So we got that. So that was good.
Sorry, are they separated out by like elementary and high school, or is it all everything together?
Everything's together. Yeah. And so the application filing round opens July 3rd and closes October 30th.
Wow.
So that's when we can submit applications. So we will not hear anything until early to mid of 2026 on whether you got awarded funds or not. Okay. And then they would tell you if you got awarded funds. They do have a whole application process, which is quite extensive. So they do their own cost estimating based on, they have like pupils and how much per child and all of that. So they do their own, like this is how much money you would need, because a lot of times people have not started anything, right? They're not starting until they know that they've received the funds.
Right.
Or kind of ahead of the curve in that fashion. So you have 4 years to do the project, and with the optional 1-year extension. And then if you got selected, you could apply for the funds, but they're anticipating, right, that's gonna be, beginning of 2027, that people are really gonna then know they have the funds and then go through the process to then be able to apply for the funds, whereas we're ahead of all of that. So she said we would have to, if we got approved, then we would have to see how they could streamline that. So we're looking at, you would get funds in, let's see, she said if you did approval access, you're looking at like spring to fall of 27 at the earliest that you would want. But she said it could be early 2027 because we're ahead of the game if we got approved.
Are those funds the type where you can say, get financing and then pay off financing?
Yes.
Oh,
You can't do that.
so it won't slow us down necessarily.
No.
We don't need
So
to
the
wait.
big challenge that I keep running into is, right, if we get Prop 2, we have to do extra steps.
Mm.
So if we continue not knowing, then we have to do those steps regardless, which is extra money.
Right.
And then if we don't get it, then we've done that, and we didn't need to, right?
And we
So
think
I feel like
you would to
to do like your DSA approval, to go through the state architect approval, like that extra money and extra time. So we're kind of approaching a crossroads, in my opinion, whether we have to decide, are we going to wait and see if we get Prop 2? Or are we going to move forward like we may get Prop 2 and spend that extra money? You know, so what are we gonna do?
How do we look at financing it ourselves?
So that's what I've started to do this week, is look at other financing options to bring to facilities on April 1st, to say, here's other options if we don't get these, or we decide, let's move forward without that, right? So today was a lot of heavy sighing for me, because I was like, how are we gonna decide this? So,
Together,
yeah, together,
not
exactly.
by yourself.
Yeah, so, it's just so much, there's so much information. So the one thing that we're already doing, that Julie has helped us with from the district, is we have, CDE, right?
CDE.
It's coming up, so your site has to be approved, right? Like, our site cannot even qualify, and that knocks us out immediately, right? And a lot of that is size for number of students. So, and how much space you have of open space. So CD's scheduled May 6th, right? I think they're coming. It's May 6th,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. They're gonna come and walk the site with Susan and I to see if our site will qualify. So we'll have step,
So that's step one.
step one.
Other people try to make our decisions for us.
Yeah. if our site qualifies or not, so.
Well, that, yeah,
Yeah,
that would be.
you don't qualify,
Really,
good, now we don't have to do
okay.
it. Yeah.
So we'll know that,
Okay.
after they come. And then, let's see, looked a little bit more into the bond market, the tax-free bond market. I have some with Baird, is that who you also spoke to?
No, it's somebody else.
Kevin sent me a recommendation list. I talked to them today. They will give us an estimate, but they need us to send financial, like our interim budgets and stuff, so I just need to know that that's okay to send it to them.
It is.
Okay, I figured it's all public, so this should be
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
And then they will give us a cost estimate based on, I can say, what would our payment be on 10 million, 20 million, 25 million, this is how much your payment would be. They are only a 3 to 4 month lead time, right? So from the time we need the money. So if we say we want the money in July, then they would start, take them 3 to 4 months to go to market usually and have 100% of the funds available for us. So that is good, although it is going to be pricey. So the rates are going between 5.5% to 7%, which is better than the regular low rate right now. And that's because, right, the person that's providing the funds gets to take all of that income tax free. So they're giving a discount on the interest rate. So, but it's calculated a little different. Got a whole lesson on that today. So there's a lot of moving parts, but we're making progress, and we'll just, Kevin's been good, and Jennifer's back on board, so that's nice.
Will Jennifer be at that meeting then? So
Yes.
Yeah, she'll be.
Jennifer and I met yesterday, so I could catch her up for everything that happened when she was gone. So we went and had breakfast. She's, for the most part, got up, and she said she will be. So.
Thank you for all the work you're doing.
Yeah, it's fun and exciting and scary and
All of the things, yes.
But yeah, so I was excited that I finally have some answers on Prop 2 of what that's gonna look like. Because I feel like that's been a big question mark, and Measure C is another one, which it seems like the district's
Yeah, it's moving forward on that.
trying to get their process lined out for that.
Good.
But we have no answers on any of that money at this point.
Well, that's just like it was last month. So good.
Yeah, but they talked about it this time.
We
Talk about it
actually
and
had
not
a
go
webinar
into
this
it.
time, so.
Okay.
That was it.
And the district, I'll report that, the district also is
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about it,
Moving
so
ahead with
yeah,
it.
we're
Good.
getting closer to
Yeah.
that process.
All right. Thank you, Trish. Really, thank you for all this work and
Yeah.
focused intelligence. And oh my God, you're
I
amazing.
just have to block out my time, otherwise I get distracted. Give me a
And
deadline, and then I'm good.
Yeah.
I work on deadlines.
good. Thanks. We have community school partnership with Karen. Are you there, Karen?
I'm here, and I want to say I'd much rather be in person. I do not like this technology aspect. I feel so distant from you guys, not being able to read the room, but I'll do my best. Thank you for having me. Okay, let's see. You guys have my report, I hope. And starting off with number one, we're still waiting for the implementation grant approval that's set to be announced by CDE in May. And I do have some sad news. The North Valley Community Foundation grant application that me and Susan worked on regarding the Aaron Rodgers NorCal fire recovery funds, we got it denied, unfortunately. So I'm just found out about this today, and I've talked a little bit with Susan about it, and I'm still putting my thinking cap on to see if we can come up with a different alternative plan for that, for transportation before the end of the year. Community engagement, Donuts with the Director, unfortunately, was canceled this morning. And I think that went out in Parent Square. So
I had to review it this morning.
I didn't know if I should say that or anything. He was serving our community still, nonetheless.
Just say Susan was in court.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's a criminal story, right? Yeah.
We also have Catherine Lehman coming on Thursday night here. Well, she's coming Thursday to the school, working with the faculty, but also conducting this month's Parent Education Night on the whole child development through Waldorf lens. So that's happening. We will be offering childcare for free. That is from this Thursday from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Right now, we're currently also in the middle of our food drive to help restock our pantry for our families in our community that are in need of food. Spread the word. We're accepting food, I believe, before and after school, and there's a bin in the front lobby for people and families to just drop off food if they need. Our next advisory committee update is we're planning to meet April 17th in person in the on campus. But we are also hosting a parent showcase event in Oroville at the library. We are currently looking for volunteers, and this is more of a showcasing where parents educate the community on what their school does for their children, to help spread the word and open it up to public questions, things like that. I talked to Sarah Lee about it this afternoon, and I've got two parent volunteers signed up already, and a student, and we're still currently looking to fill more slots. So if anybody's interested in that, please let me know. I'm happy to go into more detail.
When is it, Karen?
It's the so at our last advisory meeting in Ontario, California, we met and it was discussed in our advisory committee that we feel it would be beneficial to host a parent showcasing event where we talk about what our school is. And
No, sorry, I just said when.
Oh, I'm sorry. April 26th.
April 26th.
It's a Saturday. And it will be from 12 to 2 p.m.
Oroville Library.
Our advisory committee is meeting in Anaheim, May 1st and 2nd. And that was with the CEI PLLN, and that will be the last big event. There's also a teen TED Talk event for our students on our advisory committee coming I believe that is like in San Diego, and that will be May 17th. So I'll be getting information about that out to those families. Am I going too fast?
No, you're good.
Okay. Celebrated Black History Month with the help of Miss Maggie. I put a picture in there so you guys could see how wonderful our heroes wall looked. We encouraged students, faculty, and staff to contribute to images and stories of their favorite African American heroes and leaders whose achievements resonated with them. And currently, I believe this month we're doing the Women's History Month in the lobby as well, same sort of thing. We also had a all staff meeting, and I organized a PDSA exercise for team building and also to put continuous improvement practice into action. We did the spinning top to see who could get the longest spinning of the metal spinner top, which was super fun. You can see in the picture. We had everybody laughing and talking and doing different, experimenting on what would help make their top spin the longest, which was really cool. And I'm planning to do another one next month. Next month. That's right. Any questions?
That's great.
Thank you.
That's good. Thanks, Karen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, down to item 5.5, attendance and behavior with Susan.
Okay, so this is actually pulled from Aries. It's actually an Aries report that is our ADA summary by grade level. So you can see what classes are doing better or not. This is also posted on the doors, as part of the competition. So we are, and what you'll see is our classroom students, and then if and when a student takes out an independent study packet, they come out of the count for the classroom and go into independent study as a separate program. That's the way we account for it in Aries and for the state. So you'll see, a few students down in the independent study program itself as well. So overall, our school totals for both programs are just under 91% attendance. And this is as of February 28th.
Wasn't there quite a bit of illness in this last little while too?
Yeah, we've had some big illness issues. We're working with the differentiated assistance team from BCOE to get us our peaks and valleys, so we can look at how we can focus on attendance promotion on the days that we often drop. Okay. So we're getting some of that worked out as well.
Good, thank you. Data.
Yeah, that's good because our budget's at 91, right?
Right.
So,
So not too
yeah.
bad. And also to remind you that mid-April, we stop earning any addition. So once we're there, that's our number. So we have
You don't tell parents that.
yeah, well, you strike that from the recording. Well, we have other incentives for them to come. May is a lot of fun, so.
Yeah.
A lot of plays.
A lot of field trips
and field trips.
Yeah.
Once we get through, so we get that, testing down.
Get the testing out of the way.
I can't believe we're already through spring break.
I know, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other report that I have for you is the behavior breakdowns. So the first part is the comparison between last year and this year. We rolled down just a little bit more, okay. So January kind of scared me. We popped up pretty high to 12.2 a day. And so that was a little scary, but we dropped back down for the month of February, same number of days by the way of education in January and February. So you can see that we did. We're also continuing to use the positive referrals in there. So we're getting some of those in when students get credit for their good behavior too. So that's what we're looking at. So you can see from last year to this year, same time, we have a percentage drop, about 66 fewer this year than we had last year. So if you roll that down to the next thing, and then I'll ask questions. So this is the exciting thing, and I redid this calculation 4 times just to make sure. We are sitting right now in a direct comparison at 6.1% reduction in referrals, which adjusted for enrollment is 2.3%. So that feels good. So we're continuing
Very nice.
to go up.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Good job to everybody.
Yeah.
Our primary minor referral continues to be classroom disruptions in the classroom. I keep playing with this particular line, like what do I need to report to you? So this month, I'm reporting that 7 students had, so I separated out this month between, because it's just easier. 7 students had more than 4 referrals during the month of, that is the minor referrals. And then if you go to the next one, we're still looking at physical aggression being the primary one that is referred to, the office referral. And the reality is physical aggression should be most commonly referred to the office. So I'm not sure that's going to change. What we would hope is that the number of times it happens goes down. So we have 7 students that had more than 2 referrals in the month. So those are biggies. Then the next piece is, as you've asked, for grade level comparisons for the full year. So we've had students with 6 or more combined office and minor referrals. So 15 are from TK to 2, 18 are from 3rd through 5th, and then 29 from 6th to 8th. So the behavior team is starting to meet once a month with BCOE staff called Project Elevate. They were here today. We've done a tiered fidelity assessment where they go through and say, okay, here are best practices. Where are you on it? And we, say 1, 0, 1, or 2. And so we're now working on an action plan to implement those things. We have the team planned. We're working over the next couple of months. We'll work on some team procedures to be clear about how we're using it. And then we have plans for increasing our engagement. So those are our top 2 next steps. And then in August, we have a restorative practices training for August. And so after that, we'll start working on integrating our discipline policies and restorative practices. So major focus for this year continues to be making sure we have a good tracking system. And I believe that as we get better data, we also become more aware of what's going on. So
Is
that's
this
where we are.
the second restorative practice training for this year? Right? We've done a couple.
So we've done an empathy play
Yeah, that's
training. So that one is coming in, the second one's coming April 17th. And so that's what we've done this year. And then we're able to Philip James, I remember my daughter's kindergarten teacher, so I can remember his name, works with BCOE and is a certified trainer for restorative practices.
okay.
So by the time we get through next year, we will have documented certified teachers in restorative practices.
That's
and
great.
understand.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Way to
so,
go.
Because that was, I know, something that, was people were doing it different or
Yeah.
were unsure what that was or what it wasn't.
we had started some
Yeah.
practices.
Yeah.
We've done some video, but that that sense of, are we really trained, I think
Yeah.
was part of it, so,
That's good.
yeah, so we're doing that, that'll happen next year.
All right. Thank you, Susan. Item 5.5, nope, 5.6, audit firm selection.
Brought this to the the finance committee, we talked about it there, and we talked about what, you know, the audit firm selection, we've used the audit firm, the same audit firm for a number of years. We qualify to continue to use them if we want to, because they change, they won't have the same team working with us for more than 3 years at a time. But we're looking at, we looked at potentially going out and looking for other firms and got started on that. And when we talked to finance, you know, the reality of the time frame for Magnet to do that was too short. So we're going ahead with the same audit firm, and we haven't had trouble with them. It's just, you want to change every once in a while. So,
So this is for
so this is the same firm.
one more
To
year?
do our audit for another year.
Okay.
And then we've committed to work with the finance committee on going through the process of finding a new auditor for next year. So we'll put it on as an item on our finance committee list, so we don't wait until April or February. You know, we started in January, February still.
Okay,
So this is just saying, we're gonna use the same firm this year. And I'm just committing to you that we will work on a new firm for next year.
all right.
And the prices for it are about the same as
Do the,
bid.
Yeah.
do the costs vary much from audit firm to audit firm?
No, not really.
Yeah, they must talk amongst themselves.
Yeah, or they know, you know, each other's proposals. And only so, you know, we put it out and we asked, there's a whole list from BCOE of approved auditors. And we asked them all, and only a couple of them say, yeah, we might be interested. So that's really what happened. We got to that point of them saying, yes, we'd like to give you a proposal, and then, yeah.
And they bill on
We
a
have
flat
it.
rate, right? So that's-
Well, they have some, like it's a flat rate, but then it's like depending on if the documents are good or what they want, they may charge more or something when I was reading it.
Well, they'll charge more if we take more time to get it done,
Yeah,
or if it's difficult for them to get it done.
yeah,
They will
like
charge
we're
more.
giving them documents that aren't what they want or, yeah, aren't accurate, or they have to go and like piece it together,
We're
right?
not cooperative.
Yeah, so, which is
Well,
fair
yeah.
enough, you know,
That's the building inspector. I'm here to pay my husband's fine for following directions.
Oh,
Okay, do we need to, we don't need a motion on that.
yeah, we do.
We do need a motion on our audit firm selection. Motion is,
I'll make a motion to approve the audit firm contracts.
I think.
and we have a second for approval of the audit firm selection. Comments, questions, and we vote.
All right, Andrews, aye.
Laurel, I.
Donna, aye.
Vicky, aye.
Patricia, aye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you, Susan. Policies. Susan,
Okay,
we brought you
policy, fiscal policy, we reviewed the fiscal policy as I committed to last month. Maggie and I went through it. And so physical policies are, of course, presented 1 month and approved or ended the next. So we will bring this back to you. That's why it says April 2025 on here. If you can roll through it. Just talk about it.
Can you send that
Yes,
to us too?
yeah, definitely.
Have
So,
the month to review.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, so the first part is sort of, this is when we do stuff. And then, the big changes that you have in here, and initially, we didn't have a credit card statement at all. So the credit card limit to exceed, not to exceed 25,000, so that's, and that any credit card has to be approved by the board before it is. This is one of the areas that was brought up to us, and these are written, a lot of them are written based on the FICMAT report that we received, or that FICMAT audit that we received, so 25,000 is there. There are changes
10,000.
that we have agreed to in the past but haven't put into policy, which is the grants. The grant to be written, the grant has to be approved by me, but to be accepted, it has to be approved by you. With all of the, and you need to have all of the, like, this is what it requires of the grant, so you wouldn't want to approve a grant that didn't benefit the school significantly, so that's part of your process, so that is in here. So contracts and modifications of 5,000. So any contract that's above 5,000 needs to come through the finance committee and to the board. If it's less than 5,000, I can approve it, but then it still needs to go through the finance committee and the board
Checks and
after.
balances.
So it just allows me for smaller contracts to do a little more. I'm able to move up to 5,000 up from one category in the budget to another, but it still needs to come through the finance committee afterwards, so it still gets approved, it's just that I can do it temporarily. We approved in 23, we approved a policy specifically for travel, because there was a lot of confusion with what we've done. This also was included in the fiscal policies, so we are removing it from the fiscal policies and referring to the travel expense policy, which, as I said, was, so we had, basically, when Maggie and I looked at it, we realized we had two travel policies. And one said that we would pay for a hotel if it's more than 100 miles away, and the other one said we would pay for a hotel if it was 50 miles away. So we're like, oh, we have some things that we need to clean up. So just simply eliminating one of them seemed the best idea. One of the things I do when going through policies is look at local districts and what policies they have. And local districts have the other policy, which is 3350, they do not have. Nobody has that 3060 anymore. So my understanding is this is probably old and outdated and has been eliminated from policies. So that's what we are proposing to do.
So there it is. There's the one that's outdated. It's highlighted in kind of a
3030.
shirky color.
Yeah.
30, 30, 30, 40. Oh, no, not 30, 30. It's 30, 40.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, so no, that's
Here
the
it
one
is.
that's
30, 40.
So we're talking about them. So yeah, so just again, plenty of policies.
I'll send them both to you so you can look at them.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that.
Mhm.
Daunting.
Great.
It's fun if it's your thing.
Yeah. Maggie and I do it, yeah. But it just
Nerds.
takes, it's like I have to tell everybody, do not interrupt me right now. You have to read this policy.
Yeah.
So people got some of that one. Not right now. Yeah, I need to get through the policy, so we did that one today, this week.
Thank you.
Okay.
All righty.
And you have your report, Susan.
We will look at that next month.
Yes, I'll send it out to you either later this evening or tomorrow morning.
So this is a draft.
Yes.
Yeah, what you're looking at.
Moving on.
Okay, executive director's report. It's the sun breaks through. Today was a gorgeous day. And then our regular, like, favorite things. This is from the lower grades, obviously. We read a sentence. Ted met a pal named Jen, and one of my students said very confidently to the rest of the class, that means Ted met a pigeon.
What?
I don't know. We don't know. Jen must be a pigeon. I don't know.
How Jen, how Jen? Pigeon?
Pigeon, yeah. Yeah, this is cut and paste, so I didn't change the spell. I think the 7th grade class playing bunco. And then I've been loving watching the spontaneous nature of Recess Open Studio. That's amazing. The kids get to experiment with and discover new musical instruments. This week, Lucas, I usually don't leave this week a student, I'll leave and fix that. Learned he loves playing the drums. He begged another student to give him a lesson. Afterwards, he said, "Miss Swanson, it was better than playing video games."
Wow,
Yay, that's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win. I did my first watercolor painting. One of my wonderful fourth graders taught me how to use watercolor pencils to do a watercolor. We had such a great time. I learned a lot from her. She would be an amazing teacher. We were fighting tooth decay. We had Butte County Oral Health come and visit and do education programs. Every child got a toothbrush and a whole little packet. And then they're coming back, I think, this week for screening if they need it. I talked about the Project Elevate, which I am really excited about, the kind of support we're getting for our work in strengthening our behavioral processes and procedures. And then my biggest project this month has been teacher of observations and evaluations, which I really love. We are discussing with faculty and all staff cell phone policies and implementation of them with a focus on consistency.
Focus on.
Consistency.
Yeah.
So one teacher shared the story of taking someone's cell phone away, and the middle schooler was like, "What? I didn't know that was a policy." So they of course are quite happy to attempt to convince people that they don't know the policies. So that just brings it back on us to really know that we're being consistent with that sort of thing. And that for behavior as a whole, is something we just need to talk about. We have the policies, we know what they are, and sometimes we get like, as you're doing whatever you're doing, go, "Well, was that a policy? I can't remember." So just really working on that sort of education and sharing so that we do know that everybody is on the same page for cell phones or whatever. I'm also found a Luddite of New York City. And so I'm going to share the article on that, which is teenagers who are anti-cell phone. So it's kind of fun. So that the CEI going down to Ontario this last month. The CEI experience is really a strong one. It's a well-developed training program, and so we're in the process of learning how to do things like develop good goals with everybody involved, and different ways of working on interactive communication or projects. So it's been great because I actually use them. They don't just say, "This is what you need to do, here's a sheet." They're actually like, "Okay, in this, you're gonna do this project." So you really start to learn how it feels to do it in a group and work in a group. And so I've been really pleased with that for the whole team. Donna's been with us, was here with us the last time. So
I concur with what you said, it's a well done training.
it is a well-done training. We'll be starting on state testing. That happens in April. A lot of work personally, just communicating with families around behavior and talking and continuing to work on those relationships. Special education takes me about a day and a half a week, just to let you know that. And then the Alliance and is the Waldorf Leadership Group, and then Leading Now is a national superintendent's group that I regularly get involved with. I'll say this, we talked about it being Women's History Month, and so I am encouraging everybody to ride bicycles. Because the story that goes along with that, and I have a great grandmother who was part of that, that when bicycles became balanced, so there were two same-size wheels, women could begin to ride bicycles and were no longer dependent on somebody else to come get them with a carriage to take them where they need to do. It changed the clothing that women wear, and it changed, they actually were worried because women's faces were getting, color in their cheeks, and they were talking about the fact that maybe it wasn't healthy for them. But in fact, it is a major reason why the suffragette movement actually worked, because women could get together without having to depend on somebody else to get them there. So,
Typewriting was originally thought to be too strenuous for women. That they couldn't fulfill jobs.
yeah. I think of it like a gilded cage. Was, they were well cared for in many ways, but, and treated well, but there was
The other
no.
thing that's interesting is it's very class dependent.
Yeah.
What women are able to do versus not able to do.
Yeah, so, my family has a story, but I'll tell it. My great-grandmother, who dropped out of school at 8th grade, and would go right over to school and make fun of the children who were in school as she was out of school. That's my, she's, lived in Lincoln, and there's many stories about her. Anyway, she was but that was it. She could get around because she had a bicycle. So a lot of the discussion that's going on still are the federal changes, and what's going on there. And of course, we're still in a we don't know phase. Two topics that are coming up in discussion, and I wanted to share with you, is a sense of pluralism, how important that is to democracy, that we are moving into, we potentially are moving into a phase where we are segregating, different religions or classes or people are believing that the potential, that the pluralism of democracy is not realistic or effective. And so I put that out there for you to be thinking about. And that the other thing, the unbundling, which kind of goes along with the lack of pluralism, the idea of, we have focus on an education system that is one for all, with eliminating segregation and so on. And that we are currently having the discussion about whether or not that's working. So to be prepared as part of the education community to respond to that sort of question, to be aware of that. So not a great thing to, this is a process of learning in progress. And we are looking at a couple of bills at the state level that may not be positive for charters. And so I'm also working and being aware of what CCSA is putting out and how you want to respond to those as well. It's really important.
Thank you. All righty. Moving into closed session. Final item. Item 7.1 and 7.2. Thanks for
Thank
coming,
you, Sarah.
Cheryl.
Enjoy your evening. The sun's still out.
It
I was
is.
just gonna say, enjoyed your evening. Enjoyed your evening.
Oh, there's hours left.
Hours left, so much to do.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, Sarah. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
hot dog's hair.
You should back. Getting caught, I'm like, no, save the bees, save the bees.
And also the
dog. And the dog.
It's for me and Tim.
Ready, Meg?
You're good?
All right, so reporting out from our closed session is we have given directions to work on lease negotiations to the director. And that is that. And our next meeting is April 15th at 6 p.m., except for Facilities April
Oh,
1st at
yeah.
6 p.m. also. And our meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna be here, but I will Zoom.
Oh, on
I
April.
will
Okay.
Zoom, because I wanna hear what's going on. What the heck is going on?
Like you said,
Oh, this
we're
is in
reporting back. I
April?
feel like you should be like, I feel like a news broadcaster, and
Report
we're
live on
back.
the site.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.